In this video, I'll be sharing with you a tutorial on how to cut this stylish waistcoat with side slits. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So to draft this waistcoat, the first thing you need is your measurement. So I've marked out my shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline, and after my waistline, I added additional 7 inches. Now, I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2 for this pattern. So after marking that, I'll come down by 1 inch here. The next step is to go ahead to mark my basic neckline for this pattern. I'll mark 3 inches by 1.5 inches. This is what I'm using for the back. So I'm cutting the back pattern first. Now after marking this, I'll go ahead to connect from here all the way to the shoulder. The next step is to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. What I have there, I'll draw out a straight line. The next step is mark my shoulder divided by 2 again and place my ruler connect. Now, I'm going to go ahead to divide what I have here into 2. Come out by ½ inch and go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll connect from the midpoint all the way up and from the armhole to the upper part. Now after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to insert my measurement, because for this pattern we are cutting it in form of a dartless waistcoat pattern. So I'll start by inserting my measurement. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add 1 inch for my stitching up allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4, add my stitching up allowance of 1 inch. Mark my hip circumference divided by 4, add my stitching up or sewing allowance. Now you want to go ahead to connect your pattern. Going to connect from the bust to the waist and from the waist towards the hip point of this pattern or the blouse length. So now I'll just go ahead to cut this out. And after cutting this out, we are now going to alter the sides of this pattern to get that slit we have by the side of this waistcoat, right? After drafting out this back pattern, I will place this to cut out my front. Now first I'll alter the neckline. I'll go in by 3 inches and I'll connect this back to the armhole of my dress. And from this part, from the shoulder, connect it to the armhole and you're going to go ahead to cut it out. So after cutting it out, I'm just going to transfer this to the front pattern, right? I'll now use this to draft out the front pattern, but I'm going to come in by 1 inch here. That is my 1 inch sewing allowance, and I'll connect this down and go in, right? Here I will make like a little curve at that point. So by the time you stitch up your cloth at the side of the dress, you'll be having this opening here, right? So you can go ahead to reduce the size if it doesn't suit what you want also. Now let's get this pattern. I've already marked out like a button allowance of 1 inch in front. All you have to do is just to go ahead to place and trace it out. So I'll just go ahead to trace out what I have at this part round the pattern that I have cut out. So for the neckline, we'll still go ahead to alter the neckline of this pattern. So this is what I have here now. So let's go ahead to alter this front pattern to achieve what we have. Now I'll be using 6 inches for the depth of the neckline. If you're not okay with these 6 inches, you can increase yours or reduce yours. So from the waistline, I'll just slant, mark ½ inch here, and I'll connect it all the way to the lower part of this pattern. So this is the opening we have at the front part of this pattern. So if you feel this opening is small, you can still go ahead to use 1 inch right by the side of your pattern. Go ahead to cut out the neckline. So this is it, and I'm done. So all you have to do is to place this and join. Now if you notice that I didn't really like cut out or reduce this side, this is because I didn't add a sewing allowance to that side. So by the time you sew it out, you have that or slit by the side of the dress.